All right, we are about to talk about Mandalorian because we promised we would. I need to update those too. Anyways, we'll get to that another time. All right, Cleve, thoughts?
Uh, Came out swinging immediately.
Uh,
Um,
you right, you
what
right.
to me picked up just about where it left off. You really get to see again just the straight up skill of the Mandalorians themselves.
You're not wrong at all. I liked. I think my favorite thing about it so far is the amount of respect that the Mandalorian puts towards everybody else's cultures. Like the fact that he was like the only one that was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna talk to them same people and we're gonna figure shit out. And
Yeah.
in turn,
Well, I mean, to be fair, they kept murdering
yeah,
one another. So I guess I wouldn't want
I
to talk to them
guess,
either.
but like I don't know. I think it speaks to a lot about that culture, the Mandalorian culture. But like on top of that, the fact that they respect the shit out of him and like they're also terrified of him to the point where
That's what I was gonna say.
the marshal could wear the Mandalorian armor and everybody was like, "Oh shit, this dude means business."
Yeah, I think it just speaks more to like everyone feels the Mandalorian to a point where it's like, all right, I'll hear him
Right,
out.
right, right.
I'm not just gonna pillage and plunder.
What are your thoughts, Myth? Opening thoughts on this, and Wolf, if you're out there, man. Rose, hopefully you like Star Wars. If not, I apologize. We are going to get back to Overcooked in just a second, but we did promise the chat that we'd talk a little bit about Mandalorian.
Uh, I don't see anything in the judges yet. How did you feel when you saw the Boba Fett
The armor.
armor
So
after so
I
long?
feel like it was kind of hinted at that this was going to be a possibility that was going to happen.
Yes.
Um, Immediately out the gate, looked at the guy that was wearing it, was like, "That's not going to be Boba Fett. There's no way." But I did think that he was actually. I thought that the Mando was going to leave the armor with him. I thought he was going to say you've kind of earned it or something, and be like, "You can keep the armor."
Nah, bump
I,
that.
I mean, I'm
You gotta
cool.
live
I'm
that
cool with the
life.
fact that he didn't. Is it? But then I go back to like if you're trying to now sell me on the fact that the Mandalorian is strictly morals, like I don't buy it because we let his mask come off. Like once they did that, it kind of took the illusion of like nothing could happen outside of. You just knew when the marshal showed up that he wasn't a Mando. Yeah, I have a lot to say, but my internet isn't connecting and I'm hearing it all, but can't type in chat. All right, I think my internet is back now. Um,
Well, I think to your point, the biggest thing is they always say that the Mandalorian armor doesn't dent, and Boba Fett's armor is known to have that dent in the helmet because his isn't official Mandalorian armor, is
I
it?
think it is. I think it's still made of Veskar, but I don't think he's an official Mandalorian.
I thought there was something about his armor too,
Oh,
but I could be
possibly.
wrong.
So I really liked it. I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. I did love Boba's armor in it. Question is, who do you guys think the guy at the end was? I feel like it's gonna. I mean, it looked like the same actor that played Django, and if that's the case,
It is
okay.
the same
If that's the
actor.
case, then they're definitely gonna say that that's Boba now.
Now, I will say yes, it is going to end up being Boba. However, keep in mind the way he looks is the way that every clone trooper
Right.
looked. So you can't necessarily say that. Or more or less, like they could have that guy playing 800 different people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Just because they're all from
So
that
do you
same mold.
just so you think that he's not going to actually be the Boba Fett, and he's just going to be a clone, and they're going to say like he was some other character?
I think the guy at the end was the
Oh, okay.
Boba Fett. I think that they have the option to play on it more, like what is it, Rex,
Yeah.
General Rex? They have the option to do that because he was also a clone from the Clone Wars and could be brought into this now.
So an interesting thing, Wolf, is that there's a lot of theory that Boba was not an actual Mando based on the Phantom Menace saga, and that Django and that because this show has, sorry, I'm kind of messing with Clee's picture right now, trying to get it to fit perfectly. Because this show has kind of made a big point of, no, you're good, man. I needed to have this opportunity to edit it anyway. I can't do it unless we're live, so it gives you because of the show, they basically set in stone, like, if you remove your mask, you are no longer Mandalorian. So that being stated, they are surmising that there is no way for Boba or Jango to actually be Mandalorian descent, and that they just happen to have come upon the armor, and because of that are just bounty hunters that happen to upon it.
I believe it's also the creed and the code that the Mandalorian follow. Like the fact that the Mandalorian found the child. Boba Fett, the way they try to explain it is Boba Fett would have turned the kid in without question. And the Mandalorian felt a different way about it and obviously went a different route. That's how they described to me the big difference between like a Mandalorian and what Boba Fett and Jango Fett were. If that makes sense.
So if that's the case, then if that is Boba, he doesn't have to worry about following the way because he's just a womp rat.
It didn't give a shit.
Um,
Ruthless bounty hunter.
what was I gonna say? The only other thing, like, big opinion I had was I have to put everything away and gotta get out of here. Sounds good, Wolf. Definitely get out of here, man. Go home. I mean, the old comics, Boba pulled himself out. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely got to be Boba. But uh, what did you think about? I guess what did you think about the murdering of the Scular shark, Sabine, and all?
As in how they did it?
So what about Sabine and all the other Mandos and rebels? So that is a great question that I think Cleve might have more clarity than I would, because I did not ever watch Rebels.
When it comes to just the Mandalorian creed itself, it's if the helmet comes off, if anybody sees you with the helmet, that's it for them. They more use it for their protection, just like the Marshal did. The Marshal used it just strictly not because he believed in this way, but because he knows what it represents, and he knows that it people respect it, and in turn started respecting him. I don't know if he necessarily had the respect of the city before all of that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it didn't really seem like it.
Because they showed flashbacks, and he was just like another guy at the bar, not really doing anything.
So in Rebels, is Sabine a Mando, or is she just
No, because she takes her helmet off also. I think just another bounty hunter.
So it's very much like, if you're not
I believe.
the crit dragon. Thank you. I kept calling it a shark because every time it came out of the ground, it reminded me of a shark. But yeah, you're right. Crit dragon. Thank you.
It did have like a fin
Yeah.
to it.
The crit dragon. That was an interesting. It's crazy to me to think that the man. Why am I forgetting all the names right now? I keep wanting to call Slee Slack. The
Bull
thing
things.
that comes out of the ground and ate all the people. Why am I blanking on its fucking name right now? The pit, the Scarlac.
Yes.
It's interesting to me that, like, it puts like a scale on the on everything. Or Sarlacc, thank you. It puts a scale on everything. Like the fact that the Sarlacc felt like this huge, ginormous creature, and all of a sudden we have something that just devoured it or ate it out of its own little hole.
I saw that ending coming, more or less, pretty early before the fight even started. That it was gonna have to be I'm gonna have to go inside of it and blow it up type of strategy. But it was still, I mean, the outcome of it and how it took place was so interesting.
I thought they were planning that from the start. Yeah, I'm not sure why we didn't just tie a bunch of explosives to the bantas and just be like, "Hey, eat one of
and then
these."
let them eat it. I think it's funny when they try to, because it's interesting. They were like, okay, we just feed it, and then we don't have to deal with it. That's a really interesting strategy
Mm-hmm.
of it, I thought. But then when the guy went to go drop it off and it ate him, I was like, well, what the fuck? like, okay, it was your turn. Like, the fuck I am? I'm not going out there and
The
drop that
thing that
thing
didn't make
off.
sense about that was like from a pure like predatorial standpoint, like you're looking at what 600 pounds of food or a buck 25 of food. Why would you ever go for
Hmm.
the sand person instead of going for the?
Yeah, maybe because it ran,
Yeah, I thought it was a good start to the
or
season though.
he ran, I should say.
I actually like the actor that they used as a sheriff. I agree. I like the actor.
Yeah, he's in everything. He's in so much.
And I did think it's Timothy Oliphant, right? Is I,
That
I'm
sounds
pretty
right.
sure. I'm just trying to because I remember seeing Timothy Oliphant recently, but I'm pretty sure it was Mando in that. Um, yeah, he's good. The first time I ever saw him was in the movie The Crazies. It's a really good movie. Um, but yeah, no, I think it was a really good start. I think it definitely sets the tone. Bigger, crazier and beasts that he's hunting down. It's not the giant rhino anymore. Now we had this, and we took it out in one episode. And
Yeah, remember when he struggled with the rhino? Now look where we are.
right now he's jumping into a giant dragon. And okay, one more thing I'm kind of curious about.
A lot of death. A lot of death.
So the stuff that it was spitting out at first, I thought could potentially be acid, but it didn't really look like
Hmm.
people were melting. And then I remembered that it's a dragon. Is that like, are they following dragon lore and that like that's the liquid, the flammable liquid that it's supposed to be shooting out to then catch things on fire? Because like like a dragon has this gland that is supposed to shoot out this fiery like napalmy material, and that's what then ends up also hitting
Hmm.
the flame, and then like so that's why they shoot fire out of their mouth. Is that what was happening, or was that supposed to be like acid or something?
I thought it was acid because they weren't melting, but they definitely didn't like it.
Yeah, I just he said I
Um,
have to go back on my lore, but thought it was actual acid. It very well could be. When watching it, it didn't look like they were like. It wasn't like a xenomorph alien kind of acid where it instantly was just burning holes through
right.
things.
But also, to be fair, if that thing was just spitting up stomach
Fair.
acid, it would
Just
probably be
trying
the
to
same thing.
digest you. It's like let's make it easier on the old tum tum.
Because at one point, I thought it was just a thing that it could do. But on the other hand, it only did it after they put the bombs on its
Mm-hmm.
stomach. So that's also a reason why I was like, oh, it could just
It
be
was real
like
pissed
fucking
off, and it was like coughing up blood.
and an upset stomach. Yeah.
In heartburn, upset
Acid
stomach,
reflux.
indigestion.
Yeah. He's like,
Crit dragons were a little different in Legends. Yeah, I will be 100% honest. So I love Star Wars. I have a great love for the universe and the way it's gone. I don't have a huge wealth of knowledge when it comes to back past movies or really the movies. Um, Outside of that, I will gladly yield to anybody else that has more knowledge than I do.
you should watch Clone Wars, man. We'll watch it together.
Clone
I
Wars,
don't
I
think I've seen
feel like
every
I started
episode.
watching Clone Wars. Is this something? Oh, I was like, is this something's playing? But it's the fact that all the things are moving behind us. Clone Wars, I started watching, and I feel like I kept falling asleep watching it. The cartoon, is that the one?
It gets to a point where it's really, really good, but yeah, it's a slow start.
But yeah, I just
Much like
like I love Star Wars. And I actually got the opportunity when they first opened Star Wars uh, Land or Batu in Disney World, not Disneyland. I got to go out there and hang out with some cast members that are friends of ours, and they took me in, and we got to see like the cast member preview and stuff. Like, so I've gotten to do some cool things as far as Star Wars is concerned, and I really love the lore, and I like the movies. But I will be honest that like the books that came out and a lot of the comics and the cartoons I did not see.
I thought about going back and reading that Darth Vader 2015 comic run that
Oh
they
yeah.
had.
That's fair, Myth. They don't count anymore. But I feel like even though they say they don't count, they still do. Interesting fact. So, Myth, I don't know that you know this, but I've had many jobs in my life, and one of those jobs was as a cast member. With Disney, and because of that, I have like weird knowledge in my head from cast member stuff. And so something fun, even though Disney does not consider the comics and the books to be lore, anybody that plays one of the characters, so any entertainer that plays a character, so dressed as Chewbacca or Rey, any of them, they have to know any like optional lore that exists about their character, so that if someone were to come up to them and mention something, they could still react in the way that their character should have reacted.
Yes, Bambi, we stopped to talk about
We're almost done, Bambi. I'm sorry. But yeah, so like even though it's not like official lore anymore, the character like the entertainers still have to know about it, so that if someone were to mention something about it, they could react in an appropriate way, which I think is crazy because like that's so much knowledge you need to know.
it's one episode, Bambi.
We don't. I don't need the new season. We're all done. That's fine. We're going back to the game. Plus, we just
Um,
wanted to test this out.
random fact for you, I found out today that apparently, I don't know if I sent it to you or if you got it, but Harrison Ford, by the time they were going to do the Star Wars movies, had kind of given up acting and was doing carpenter work and was doing carpenter work for George Lucas. George Lucas had done a movie with him previously. And so he would have actors come in to do Luke and Leia read lines, and he would have Harrison Ford come in and read the lines of Han Solo. And he was like, I really like you for this. I want you to do this role.
Oh, this is interesting.
And brought him all the way back in with it.
Finding the geek within.